News Radio 840 WHAS coming up on today's Louisville Real Estate Show. Can you put political signs in your yard? What happens if your homeowner association says no? Also, can you spray alcohol on your bed every day? Should you? To get rid of bed bugs? We'll find out. Also, 13 bad habits that are killing your appliances. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Sokoler, the Sokoler team, Remax Properties East, and welcome to the Louisville Real Estate Show. Hope it's a good Sunday morning for you. And joining us on today's show, some great folks. Chuck Crosby, who is the head guy over at the Crosby Law Offices. They do real estate closings, but a whole lot more, including powers of attorney. They do foreclosure defense, commissioner sales, and more. You can reach Chuck at 499-6360. Also here, Brad Lawler. He's the owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. So not only can you get your new home that you're buying inspected or resale, and you can get your bugs taken care of with Team Bug Out. You can reach Brad and his team, 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home now, or maybe in the near future, I would love to help you. All you need to do is give me a call. I'll come out. It's free. There's no obligation. We just sit and we talk about what needs to be done, if anything, what the price would be. We look at the comparables in the neighborhood and come up with a price and then the terms of what you want to do to get your home sold. You can call me anytime on my cell phone, 376-5483. Or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, hit submit, and it will come to me, and I will get right back with you. All right, folks, so we've got a variety of things happening on today's show. Let's start with this question for Chuck Crosby. Joseph sent us an email with an interesting question. He says, I'm thinking of selling my home, and a little later this year, he says, I'm going to think about doing it myself. And so he's asking, what are some of the problems that he could run into if he decides to sell without a realtor or attorney advice? Chuck?
Well, obviously, you probably aren't going to get your full price. Statistics that I've seen show that the realtors more than earn the commission that they collect. Plus, there's just so many landmines. I get phone calls from folks that try and sell the house on their own, and there's some that are quite capable, but the vast majority of them. Well, they're asking basic questions, and my response is, well, that's why God created realtors. They think that if they've got the marketing thing down, they know all the other pitfalls out there. You can't beat using a professional for a task. That's just the long and the short of it.
On the legal end of it, though, what ramifications are there? I mean,
if they're not using an attorney, then I feel sorry for their buyer. That's a big problem because there will be things that like title exams for one, homemade deeds. I run across these homemade deeds where the parties say, well, we can take care of this ourselves. They look at a copy of a deed, and the next thing you know is I've got to track down all these people and get them to re-sign documents because the deeds are worthless. It's the bane of my existence is finding that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, those are some of the things and reasons why, if you're thinking of selling, you may want to consider using an attorney or a real estate agent. Over to the fabulous Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service. Hannah sent us an email saying she gets lots of emails with household tips. And so do I. She also says that she hates bugs. And one of the email tips that she says that she should spray alcohol on her bed every night to make sure that bed bugs are never a problem. And she's wondering, Brad, does that really work?
I've seen this before. I've also seen a lot of essential oils being sprayed onto beds. I'm a little nervous about just the alcohol being sprayed on there. I don't think there would be any residual effect, but certainly there's some open flame issues if you're spraying it onto a bed near, something, heat source like a candle that's burning next to your bed. But, I think I would rather use these things called deadfall traps. If I was really going to try to prevent them, maybe what I would do is use the deadfall traps that just basically sit under the leg of the bed so that if bed bugs are moving from down low, they fall into these little traps. I don't know. I've not seen alcohol ever be effective. There are some products out there. I will tell you that you've got to read the label. Read the label completely, because some of the products that are rated for mattresses have very long periods of time before you can use the mattresses. There are insecticide dusts that I've seen people put on their mattresses. You do not want to come in contact with those pesticidal dusts. So be careful. Anything you put on the bed, read the label, make sure that it's appropriate for bed bugs and it's appropriate for human contact. Because do you really want to sleep on something that's going to make you sicker than the bed bug that might not even be there?
Okay. These deadfall traps, where do you pick those up?
You can pick them up off. Yeah, you can pick them up. They're just they're called deadfalls or bed bug traps is what you'll see them called. And that will just tell you that you may have bed bugs there. It's just another way to find them if you don't know how to look for them and have an active infestation. There
is a reminder here for you. If you would like to see a rebroadcast of the show, the video version of the show, you can go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's a redirect to our YouTube channel, LouisvilleAnswers.com. This show is waiting for you to view it as well as listen to it there. And a reminder also, if you'd like to see some of our reviews, written reviews, we're very proud of our Sokoler team reviews. You can head over to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com. Back over to Chuck Crosby. The Crosby Law Office. Sarah lives in an area of Louisville with a very strict homeowner association, Chuck. Apparently, there is word out that homeowners cannot put a presidential political sign in their yard. And she is wondering, is that possible? Can they restrict that? Is there a way to fight that? Chuck Crosby.
These things can be restricted unless, of course, a statute is enacted in 2023 that says no association can enact that. Yeah, there's a statute out there that says you can put up political signs 30 days before and no earlier than 30 days before, no later than 7 days after a special primary or an election. So with political signs, I'm not sure what the legislature's trying to do there, but it looks like it's possible.
Well, all right. I'm glad to hear that there is some allowing of this, because it sounds like that would be restricted freedom of speech.
Yeah, but the thing that you got to remember is that whenever you go into one of these places, you're entering into a contract with these with the association and all the other homeowners in that area that you won't do certain things. Okay.
Yeah.
But apparently the legislature last year said no. I think we ought to allow that.
All right. Good. Well, at least they're on it. Let's go back over to Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service. Louise lives in an apartment and here is hearing noises in her drain. That's not good. In the email she sent us, she's wondering, can she pour down the drain something that would kill what she thinks may be roaches?
Well, okay, let me think through this one just a little bit. You're not going to hear a roach in a drain. If she's hearing anything in a drain, she's hearing likely some sort of the venting that's going on there, or just a drip of water coming off the bottom of a screen. There are products. I mean, if she's having problems with roaches, there are products that you can spray, a foam that you can spray down into drains. They eat grease, they eat other things that roaches will eat on, but that would be more like a floor drain, that doesn't have a lot of water flowing through it. Like maybe a floor drain in a basement or a floor drain in a garage that doesn't have a lot of water movement. The best thing to do in those cases, I might just go ahead and start by pouring some hot water down there just to maybe move something through it. But if she does have roaches, I mean, there are, like I said, there are biocides and enzymes that can be put in there both to take care of the grease and things that roaches would eat on, as well as kill off the roaches and their larvae.
There's an upcoming event where in just a few minutes, 13 bad habits that are killing your appliances. I think one of them says don't pour hot water down your garbage disposal.
Well, the garbage disposal is a little bit different. I'm talking about like a floor drain, and I'm not talking about boiling water. But we'll get into that one here in a
we'll get to that point. All right, great. Yeah, okay. A reminder: if you're thinking of selling your home, we have a free, no obligation booklet that has hundreds of useful tips. Would you like a free copy? Okay. Simple. Send an email, bob@WeSellLouisville.com, and put selling tips in the subject line, and I'll send that right back out to you. And by the way, if you're thinking of getting a home inspection, Brad and his team have a booklet that will come right out to you free of charge, again, no obligation. All you need to do is send me an email again, bob@WeSellLouisville.com, put the word inspection in the subject line, and we'll send out the tips on how to prepare for a home inspection. Back over to Chuck Crosby of the Crosby Law Office. Justin has been looking at homes to buy. In the email he sent us, he said over the winter he slipped and fell while looking at a home on the east end of town. He says he's in pain and it continues even now 6 months later. He's just wondering, can he go after the homeowner? So the pain is really hurting. He's wondering, can he do something about it? Chuck?
Well, that's a multifaceted question.
Yeah.
First off, is there anything he can do about it? Well, the first thing is go to a doctor. Find out that there is something wrong. Once you find out that there is something wrong, if he feels that the homeowner was negligent in the way they kept the property up, well, maybe he should be speaking to an attorney. Generally, a personal injury attorney would look into that, take a look at the doctor's reports, and then come up with an idea of whether or not they feel the homeowner would be liable. Statute of limitations, certainly not past 6 months. So that's the route to go.
All right. Well, I'm just worried for him and again for any homeowner, because certainly insurance would pick it up, but that is a problem, and especially when you're showing your home in the winter.
Yeah, and the negligence issue is going to be the real thing. If you say, "Hey, come on into my property," and then you leave the place, full of booby traps, don't scrape ice or whatever. It's a possibility there's some negligence there, but there's just so many things that play in. It's more of a specific, "Hey, this exact thing happened. Do you think there's a case?"
Got it. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, 13 bad habits that are killing your appliances. Continuing with us, Chuck Crosby. He's the head guy over at the Crosby Law Offices. That's a good thing. And he does real estate closings as well as powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sales, and a variety of other things. You can reach Chuck at 499-6360. Also, Brad Lawler continuing with us. He's the head guy over at Home Team Inspection Service. They've been the #1 home team inspection service in the country 9 years in a row now. And also, he owns Team Bug Out. You can reach him, Brad, and his team at 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I'd love to help you. Free, no obligation. Call. We can review. Come out. I'll be there. It's me. There's no home too big, no home too small. I go all over the area, including Southern Indiana. You can reach me at 376-5483 or go to bobsellslouisville.com. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, the Louisville Real Estate Show, continuing to the top of the hour. Thank you, Barbara Corcoran, so much for endorsing us and being a friend, and we appreciate all the advice. You can see Barbara not only on Channel 11, Shark Tank, but also on CNBC. They have reruns of Shark Tank all the time that she's on. Continuing with us, our friends Brad Lawler, owner of the Home Team Inspection Service. They come in as a team and get your home inspected. And he also owns Team Bug Out. You can reach them at 844-411-TEAM. Also, Chuck Crosby. He's the head guy at the Crosby Law Offices. They do a phenomenal job doing real estate closings, and can also help you with powers of attorney, getting those created, foreclosure defense, commissioner sale. Chuck, wills is another big thing that you do, and we don't talk about that enough. Wills, he's done mine, and I can highly attest to the fact that he's got his act together on this. You can reach Chuck at 499-6360. And if you're thinking of selling your home now in the future, I would love to come out and talk to you. You can call me. We set up an appointment. I come out free, no obligation, and we talk about the process of what it takes to sell a home. We look at comparables. We look at what needs to be done or not be done, staging ideas, things like that. You can reach me anytime on my cell phone, 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, and hit submit. There are some things you may be doing that you don't know that are destroying or ruining your appliances. So let's see if we can help you. Number one is using hot water in your garbage disposal. Brad, you want to pick up on that one?
Yeah. So when we're talking about hot, okay, understand that pipes for a home are rated to 140 degrees. Okay. So when we're talking about hot, we're talking about tap water hot. Okay. Because your water temperature coming out of your water heater should be somewhere around 120 degrees. So what we're saying, though, is like if you're pouring out the water out of the spaghetti pot, you're boiling water through the colander, maybe you put in your sink, you want to have some cold water running through there too, because temperatures above 140 degrees, one, they're bad for the sewers, but two, they're bad for the pipes. They can cause them to leak. They can damage seals in garbage disposals. So yeah, you don't want to run anything hotter than what the water would be coming out of your tap.
All right. Next, leaving coins in your pocket when you're throwing them in the washing machine, that can damage the drum, and they may work themselves into the nooks and the crannies and cause a jam if you let them running around in there. Think about that. Also, overfilling your freezer. And Brad and Chuck, feel free to jump in on these if you've got little tips on this as well. So overfilling your freezer, it really works more efficiently than an empty one, but they can be too much of a good thing, and overfilling the freezer can block air vents and also restrict the flow of cold air. Overloading the washing machine, I think we all pretty much know if you stuff stuff in there, it's not going to get clean, is it?
No,
Not going to help.
Can't agitate.
Leaving spills in the oven, they get crusty. I'm not even sure. You can get them out after a while. Maybe if you put the oven on self-cleaning, that might help.
If they have a self-cleaning oven, Bob.
Yeah,
Some people
true.
don't know that they have even continuous clean ovens. It's always amazing to go into homes, do inspections. You open an oven up, and it looks like it hasn't been cleaned since World War II, and you just kind of wonder, oh, what's going on. And then you look, and it's got a self-cleaning feature to it. So
Also, letting lint build up in your dryer. This is a dangerous one because it could cause fires because of the lint, right? Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, and that's not just the lint basket at the front. That's cleaning the vent pipe out behind it, particularly if you've got a lot of bends and turns in it. They jam up quickly.
Don't use soap to clean your gas range burners. Here's one. Avoid cleaning your burners with soap. Doing so can lead to corrosion and clog the lighting hole where the gas comes out and gets on fire. Gets fire. Place sharp objects in the dishwasher can be a problem. Avoid putting them in because you can cut yourself pretty badly on that. Those blades can also damage the racks. You can use cast iron on your ceramic cooktop, but you might be doing damage. Are you aware of that, Fred? Do you know a little bit about that one?
No, I don't. I know that I don't know why you would have damage from those. That one's a little curious, but
the bottom of the cast iron pan is rough and can easily scratch a smooth ceramic cooktop. That's why.
I use both and have that.
All right.
Haven't seen it, but I can understand, I guess, if you're not cleaning things. And
Well, I'll throw in there that I would use a cast iron skillet before I got gas, and I went through 2 burners on my ceramic top. I used it so much that it stopped working, and never did I have a scratch from a cast iron.
Finally, mistreating the microwave door. So microwaves are often slammed shut. Don't do that. The appliances may be really in trouble if you do that. And pulling on the door also, by the way, will help ruining it as well. So keep an eye on how you handle that door, right?
Yeah, another thing on those microwave doors, the little latches, the little plastic mechanisms, you can lubricate those just a little bit, rub a little bit of vegetable oil over them, just a paper towel, and actually it'll help quite a bit with the ease of opening and closing those doors.
All right. Good tips. All right. So that's it. That's what we're talking about. 13 or so bad habits that are killing your appliances. Moving back over to Chuck Crosby at the Crosby Law Office. Elizabeth sent us an email. Says a good friend of her passed away last month. Sorry, Elizabeth. And the will asks Elizabeth to be the executrix of the estate. Now, Elizabeth says she does not have a problem with doing that, but she thought the executrix was paid by the heirs. She's wondering, is it true? How much would an executrix normally be paid to be an executrix, or in the case of a guy, an executor?
Well, it doesn't come from the heirs directly. It comes from the estate. It's a charge from the estate. And it's set by statute. I believe it's 5% of certain assets. I don't think it's the entirety, but it's 5% of certain assets.
Oh, I didn't realize it's 5%. So there is but it's certain assets, not the whole.
Yeah, okay. I believe so. It's been a while since I ran into an executor that or an executrix that wanted the fee, because usually it's family members and all that kind of thing. But it is available.
We send out bi-monthly video newsletters. I don't know if you know that, folks. It's free, and you can go sign up for that. All you do is go to WeSellLouisville.tv. That's WeSellLouisville.tv, and just fill out the form. You'll be on the list to get those bi-monthly video updates on the real estate industry. Okay, back over. Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service. Lori looking for a home. She asks, is there a way to safely conceal or disguise a utility pole wire that comes down into the center of the backyard? She says there's a house for sale. It's a great house, except those eyesore wires from apparently these utility programs. I think we've all seen those on some homes. other than making it look like a tree. Did you see the most recent Planet of the Apes movie?
No. No.
In that they look like they used old. I mean, this is obviously in the future, all that sci-fi, but some sort of utility poles, and they dressed them up. They became tree houses where the apes lived. But I thought that was kind of unique use. So when I saw this question, I go, well, maybe you do something like that. You dress it up as a tree.
I mean, you've seen the cell phone towers that are going up in areas that look like trees, but I've never seen a utility pole. And since the utility poles and lines don't belong to the homeowner, they belong to the utility.
Oh, yeah, I think the utility company would have
they could have a problem with that. Yeah. Why did you do that? Well, Bob on the radio said the Planet of the Apes. So don't do that, folks.
That's right.
I was just giving you an example of what they did on
the might look like. Yeah.
That's how you go. A quick reminder, if you're looking for the value of your home, we have this computer system that's set up. It's, again, these common words I'm using, free, no obligation. Go to WeSellLouisville.com. At the top of the page, click on Home Estimate and just fill out the form. It will give you an update on what your home is worth every month if you so choose. And it's computerized. It's just a starting point so you would know. Again, WeSellLouisville.com. Back over to, I think I'm up to Chuck here on this. We received an email from Russell. He says he just got married last year, and both are senior citizens. After the marriage, everything was fine, and now 6 months later, they're both fighting with each other. And he says, I want out of the marriage, and so does she. I purchased the home we were in with my own money, and I'm wondering now if we're divorced, does she get any part of the house? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, once they're married, if they don't have a prenup, well, the judge is going to be the one that gets to decide that question. It depends. There's no fixed, oh, hey, you took it out of your checking account and bought the house, so it's yours. No. Well, she might have had some assets then that you all use to do something else that you would have otherwise paid for. It's all going to be a matter of proof. Where'd the money come from? There's different formulas involved. And the fact is, if she's on it, the property, doesn't matter really who put the money up. If you're on the deed, you own part of that property.
All right. You're not a divorce attorney, but you know the basic legal way around. So hopefully that.
But certainly if they're getting a divorce, get yourself a divorce attorney and they'll show you all of those formulas for figuring it out.
It may be a little late for those formulas. But
from the tone of my voice, I think you can tell it might be a little too late.
A little too late. All right, this may be the final question for Brad Lawler over at Home Team Inspection Service. Erica building a brand new house this year. They just put up the brick on the outside of the house. She's walking around the house with her husband, Aaron, and they noticed holes every couple of feet. We see this question come in a lot, folks. Holes between the bricks. A friend says those holes should not be there. The builder says, yeah, they should be. What are they, she asks. Are they really holes in the brick? Should they be there? They're weep holes, Brad.
Yeah,
right?
They are weep holes, and yes, they should be there. Please do not fill them up. When you see those little pieces of rope that might be sticking out from between the bricks, do not cut them off. Those are weep ropes. Okay, the whole idea is that brick is not, it's just a covering for the outside of the house. Water gets behind the brick. You need to make sure that water can escape from behind the brick. And that's what the weep holes are for. It allows water to come out so that it doesn't do additional damage to the structure of the home. It allows it a place to escape rather than the building up and coming back into your house.
While we're on the subject of brick, let's point something out for everybody. I think this is a good time to take this little lesson here. When someone's looking for a house and they want an all brick house, because I've dealt with a lot of folks, if you see brick veneer, that is the standard brick. It's not like a little brick, thin brick. It's regular brick.
Yes,
right?
Correct. Yeah. That's correct. Yes. It's just a covering. It's attached to the house with what are called brick ties, which are just little metal pieces. And it's hanging off essentially hanging off the side of the house, not really hanging, but it's not structurally supporting any elements of the home.
Yeah, it's sitting on a ledge that's below it on the blocks. Right. But there's a misnomer that some buyers think they only want a house that's all brick. Now, that was construction back in the 20s and 30s and
20s, 30s, 40s would be probably the last time we saw full brick homes. There are quite a few in the Louisville area. They are not better necessarily than the modern construction with the brick veneers. It's just a different way of structure. In those brick homes, essentially the roof is supported by the brick versus the veneer, which does not have any structural support involved other than holding it up its own weight.
Yeah, so the bricks themselves and the older style actually held the roof up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they'd also be like 2 feet thick, wouldn't they?
Well, they're thicker, yes, but they're basically just doubled up, Chuck. They're not a bigger necessarily
not a bigger brick, but I get that.
There's just thicker.
There's just several of them wide.
That's correct. Right.
As opposed to the veneer where it's just one.
Right. So the trick is that if you look at the brick on your house and it's all running in one direction, it's all running horizontally, that's just a brick veneer. A true brick home has courses that the bricks are turned vertically.
Oh.
Okay. So if you see those vertical pieces spread throughout, then you know that is a true all brick construction, most likely, versus a veneer, which is just normally all of the bricks go in one direction, unless they've done some design elements with it. But you'll see sections of vertically placed brick, and that's your clue that there's structural support going on there.
Well, you learn something new every day on this show. That's very true. Thank you for that. Because I know I've got agents, buyers, sellers who want a brick home, but they think because it says brick veneer, it's not as good as a true brick. And I guess it's your opinion, but I'm just telling you, that's what it is.
Yeah.
A reminder, you can see this show and watch or listen to a replay of the show. It's very simple. We've made it really very simple. Go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. LouisvilleAnswers.com, and that will get you right to our show waiting for you to see it and other shows that we've done as well. Our thanks to our friends over at the Crosby Law Office. I just closed with them last week on my new home. They did a great job. I really do appreciate it. And you're a fabulous guy, Chuck Crosby. You can have your home closed there. Also, you can have Chuck do your will or create a power of attorney for you. Whatever you need, he is there for you. 499-6360. Also, thank you to Brad Lawler. He owns Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. And they also did an inspection on my new home as well. I use who I talk to and who we deal with.
Thank you for that.
Yes, we love that. Brad did a great job. His team did. You can reach Brad 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or near future, I would love to come out and talk to you. You call me on my cell phone. We'll set up a time that's convenient for you, and I'll come out. We'll spend as much time together. We'll talk about the real estate process. If you want, we'll look at comparables to see what homes have sold for in your neighborhood that look like yours. I'll explain everything to you, and also we'll do some staging tips, and it's all free. It's no obligation. You just call me, 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com. Coming up on next week's show, folks, we're going to test your home improvement IQ. We're going to take a Zillow quiz and see if you are as good as Zillow or if they beat you hands down. We'll find that out. That's it for this show. I'll see you next Sunday right here on News Radio 840 WHAS.